How's it going, people? Jack here. So I have gotten quite a few recommendations to check out a channel called Fleekazoid, and this is one that I have stumbled upon before. I did that when Blizzard was facing a lot of backlash with the Diablo 4 release, and yeah, I think it was actually a pretty funny video that he had made.
They've managed to trick one of the largest nostalgic reserve armies into hitting every branch on the predatory monetization tree. Or in other words, Bobby Boy just hit bingo, and he even got to keep the titty milk.
Now, of course, today we're dealing with one of the weirdly controversial games that has come out in recent days, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I personally do not see the controversy behind it, beside the controversy that is Ubisoft as a company. And so for that reason, I just firmly hold the stance of you can like Assassin's Creed Shadows, enjoy the fuck out of the game, despite it being like subpar in my opinion. It could have been a lot better. Crazy that Ubisoft essentially has to be bullied to the point of almost bankruptcy before they actually make a decent product. But essentially you can like it and still criticize Ubisoft, so those two are not mutually exclusive. So, which is why today's video will be on Assassin's Creed Shadows is so fucking totally awful. I suppose that's how you're supposed to read that title. Now, judging from the fact that Fleekazoid here is using a thumbnail of Biscuit Oliver, and I can see here by browsing through his channel that that is a recurrent thing, I'm just gonna assume that the man is a brother. So it will be interesting to see if this is just a meme video or an actual hit piece, but without further ado, let's get into it.
Yo, what's up, player? Sorry, I was just practicing my Japanese. Tips, we did it. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a hit. Our stock is zooming, so it's actually in the free fall. Tell them we got another 1 million players. Hell, make it 2.
I was about to say, didn't it rise slowly and fell again just before the acquisition? Not acquisition, they were already partners with Tencent, but Tencent getting higher shares in the company.
2 million more players. Fuck them, they can't prove anything. It works. The stock is skyrocketing because that's what I do. Go get yourself a snail, Pierre. You earned it. You could also have a negative $2,000 raise. Eat shit and die. Hi, we're fleeking over the little guy, and our consultant division was hired a few years ago to help Ubisoft make Assassin's Creed Shadows the smash hit it is today. In fact, you're fired. The game was too successful. We can't afford you anymore. Which actually leads me to my next point. A disturbing amount of you seem to think that this major success will allow the 19,000 people working here to keep their jobs, and unfortunately that's just not true. Notice how that number doesn't say number 1 in day 1 earnings? Well, that means we'll be laying off at least a couple thousand Frenchmen, and we'll be replacing them with several more sweatshops. And just as a little side note on all—
Yeah, oh my god, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that that is like the industry-wide practice nowadays? Hey, the game is a smash hit. How much of a smash hit? Well, essentially it got us to hit our profit margins. That's not good enough, John Bethesda, EA, Ubisoft. We must be number 1. Else, we need to lay you off. It's so freaking sad, man. And to believe that I once had a dream... Boy, the imagery of freaking Martin Luther King just showing up in my mind. But to think that I once had a dream to actually be working in like 3D department back when I used to do a lot of 3D renders and stuff like for video games in the future. No, those dreams have completely been shattered. I dodged a bullet there.
All that sweatshop business, we are deeply disturbed. That word got out about that. Why the hell do you think we hired them? Because they tuck them in at 5 o'clock and have an office wine cooler? We already tried that, and look at how that worked out for us. We got Frenchies starting a revolution every other goddamn day. You know what the nice thing is about sweatshops? They don't pay them enough to buy picket signs. Allegedly, from what I hear, people say this, I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna middle with you. Thanks to the success of the game, Piendang is gonna get a 2-cent raise on the next one. Of course, that's gonna be monthly though, not daily. The rest of that profit goes to me. I have 3 ex-wives to feed. Speaking of which, you're also fired. My marriage was too successful. I'm getting a divorce. Your salary is gonna help me recoup my losses. Now, flashing back to my years when I was working on the game, my role as chief consultant of dumb fuckery was problem solving. The first problem I noticed, too many French people, so I said hit the snail trail, Pepe's. Next order of business, we're making this one another RPG. Nothing says Assassin's Creed like walking into a base, everyone's within level range, but then you get to the target and he can one-shot you with a rock. This is fun, as long as you don't know what that word means or what it feels like.
I know. How? How did we get it? Well, we know how we got there. Origins was a smash success for them to reboot the franchise, and they couldn't just be like, oh, we have a well-written character with Bayek of Siwa and his wife, let us continue that lineage. No! We need to do that digital tourism, because we know that that is the thing that people like to do a lot. We're gonna capitalize on that idea, and we're gonna send people in ancient Greece, because that will allow us to make a hell of a lot of cosmetics and sell a lot more microtransactions. And this whole practice of flaunting just how much people were interacting with the games, right? How many players they had every single year, the amount of kills that were done and all that stuff in a full-on beautiful chart. Actually started with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it just got even worse with AC Valhalla, which a lot of people of course complained about, myself included, because it was just way too lengthy. They were of course employing this method just to showcase some beautiful numbers to their shareholders and be like, hey, invest in us, people are actually enjoying our product despite the complaints.
Now, on the point of hating our customers, in the Steam review of every Ubisoft game, people are always complaining about how we're forcing a second launcher on them, which is why we're gonna force a third launcher on them. Fuck them. But it's only gonna be a launcher for all the shitty Assassin's Creed.
I know that I'm posing a lot here, but this was weird. I don't own the game. I've made it pretty clear in previous videos. Despite the fact that I can enjoy it, I said it to myself, I will not buy a Ubisoft product in the future lest they change their practices. Them moving to Steam kind of gave me hope for a little bit, but then they hit us with those microtransactions, okay? So I don't do that shit, but I've got to play it through another friend. And when I got to say this, which was like the ways of going through the animus, of like choosing which adventure you want to go through, Assassin's Creed Unity did this in a way. Except it wasn't trying to sell you anything. But yeah, them going through these motions was... it was something.
Creed games. I want to make a clear line in the sand so that new players don't wander off to a better game that we haven't monetized out the ass. Did the Black Flag have shot to cut the box? That's a great question, Pierre. I hope asking it was worth your life. Note to self, make the guy's ass bigger than Nawe's. Reminder, we are a forward-thinking company.
Wait, really?
Note to self, make the guy's ass bigger.
Oh my days. They did the Marvel Rival things. For those of you who might not play Marvel Rivals, current updates that made my favorite white woman, I'm gonna stick with that description, Emma Frost, extremely thick. They also updated the male butts. And I'm not just talking about Venom. Which, I mean, that's not a problem. Women play games as well. And gay dudes. And everybody in between.
Ass bigger than Nawe's. Reminder, we are a forward-thinking company. Second reminder, settle that lawsuit for that time when we were a little too forward in our thinking. Hang on, I'm getting cold. Why would you make the dude protagonist also Japanese? We already have a Japanese. Listen, I'll tell you what you're gonna do. Everyone's talking about how they love brotherhood, right? Well, why don't you put a brother in the hood, huh? It'll be like Twins with Danny D. The fans are gonna love it. They did not. And whenever he fights, I want you to blast the loudest rap music you got. But not in a racist way. We here at Ubisoft are not racist, so in the least racist way you can. Whenever Yasuke shows up on screen, I want you to be blasting that trap music as loud as you can. And I'm not talking yay, I'm talking straight up SoundCloud trap beats with a harp mixed in. I want this shit to sound like Lil Ricefield is just off camera with an Sonic ASR. And in the cutscenes, when everything should be all quiet and dramatic, I want you to play the weirdest shit you got.
Okay, hold on a minute. First and foremost, what the fuck was that edit? Oh my fucking god. Okay. Thank you, internet. I said this before, I cannot remember what JD Vance looks like anymore. But thank you. Thank you for making it weirder. Now, to the point about the music, okay? I can kind of understand that it might be weird for some people, but I would imagine that he would understand, given that he, judging from the avatar look there again, he's an anime fan. Like, this would be like saying that, oh, I'm watching Samurai Champloo, and I'm not listening to a track from Saber June or Nujabes. Like, it wouldn't be the same. And that's kind of the thing that they were going with there. For those of you who might not know, there was like a Japanese... There's been a lot of iterations of Yasuke's story through Japanese media. But like Netflix, of course Netflix, did make an anime about it featuring, oh my god, what's his name again? Cloud? Like he was in that video there with Reggie Watts and Mark Reblett. Flying Lotus, yes, that's the guy. Flying Lotus, amazing artist, but he was making music like that. Like, it's just like the Boondocks, right? It has the Asian inspiration into it, but you have you have the rap tracks. And the same thing, of course, applies with stuff like Samurai 7, not Samurai 8, that's the failed Naruto sequel of like a different universe there. But also Afro Samurai, of course, like, that's a mention that you need to have there. Now, I do believe that the person who made the soundtrack here is an actual Tanzanian musician, which is, I guess, as closer to the roots of Yasuke as they can get. So mixing that into some of the Japanese aesthetic, some of that music, right? Making that mixture, it's not new. Hell's freaking Jasper Kidd, who did the soundtrack for Assassin's Creed Valhalla alongside with Sarah Schachner and the last dude. There were 3 artists who did the soundtrack for Valhalla. They had a mixture of their own soundtrack with that of very Nordic music. Like, it makes sense that they would do that. It may be cringe for some people, but I understand the intent.
That doesn't fit the setting, the scene, or anything. It's perfect. God, these juices are just flowing today. You go fire somebody. You go make something shinier. You go add 1 million players. God, I'm a genius. Now let's talk about the gameplay. We're gonna do a brand new take on the new system where we return to form by changing nothing. Can we all agree on this? Alright, nice, but we need to make these 2 characters feel distinct but equal, not in a racist way. Which is why no-ass Nawe will be great at everything except combat, and Yasuke will be a little bitch that can't even climb a rock. Unless you don't want him to climb a rock, then he'll be able to climb a fucking rock. I want this man to be like our Expert Plus difficulty, kind of like that Fractured But Whole difficulty system. Right around that 15-hour mark where you're getting bored of the repetitive gameplay loop, I want to cure that boredom by giving you even less gameplay options. You want a new mechanic? Pull out your credit card. Don't have the money? Find a country with flexible labor laws, start a sweatshop, and I'll give you some money. Also, that Spartan kick's been our crutch for the last 3 games and it's getting old. That being said, we haven't had a new idea come out of this company in 10 years, and I wouldn't want to break the streak. So just make the kick send these rice farmers into the stars! Listen, I got a tea time at 6. We really gotta, let's just stop developing the combat halfway, alright? But Saul, this is a return to form. Shouldn't we have all these mechanics? You're not even speaking American anymore. Listen, we don't have to worry about putting in the other half of the gameplay because it rains. Besides, people don't want flow. They don't want a unique identity. They want something that feels like nothing.
I will admit, every single instances of playing as Yasuke just made me want to play Ghost of Tsushima. This is what you get, Ubisoft, when you're not innovating. Like, I appreciate what they did with Naoe, no doubt. I finally getting to play as an assassin who can fucking prone. Why did it take them so long? With Unity, they needed a console generation change to add a crouch button. Other stealth games have been doing that for years.
And I don't mean unique. I want to remind them of that empty void where their soul used to be, so they fill that void with cash shop items instead of combat. The old Power Fantasy combat made them feel big and strong. Sarah, look at me. I want them to feel small. And forget flow. Make it all stuttery. I want it stuttery as hell. I've got a nephew with a stutter. He can't say yes without making it a 10-syllable word. Use that as your inspiration. I'll send you a tape later. Speaking of no flow, let's talk about that stealth right now. I want that assassination button to only work half the time. Half the time, I want the prompt to assassinate in Assassin's Creed to either not assassinate or not show up at all. I want half the encounters to play out like this. Did I just catch you trying to assassinate shit? I want them to stand around with their dicks in their hands waiting to assassinate in Assassin's Creed. You can assassinate when Daddy Ubisoft says you can. Well, so we at least add all these mechanics back from the original games? No, you don't understand. We let them lay down. They don't get anything else. Don't overthink this, guys. These people will buy anything. In 15 years, we'll be selling a JPEG called Assassin's Creed. Fuck you, give me your money, and these people would still pay us $90.
Yeah, I don't 100% agree, but I get the sentiment. It's the same right now with Nintendo fans, which I was gonna say, like, I get it. The Switch 2 feels like something attractive, but come on, be honest.
For it. Reminder, the poor core is feeling stiffer than our executives when they get near the secretaries. Add more flips to distract. Next thing, some guy came up to me the other day and told me we should make a great 12-hour game instead of 80 hours of pondering the rope, so I shot him. But don't worry, I shot him in the game, so it only did 10% of his health. Our games aren't meant to be enjoyed, they're meant to be endured. What are we gonna do, make a memorable short campaign, sell 5 million copies in the first month, and immediately get a sequel like some fucking showed? No! I want to lock all your abilities behind 50 fetch quests, and when you go to do that meditation quest as a break from all the fetch quests, I want it to trigger a flashback to that one time where you did a fetch quest. Eat a dick! No, not literally, Yasuke. Don't look at me like that. Stop that. I want to beat the fans down with monotony until they buy the Yasuke farting vent clouds bundle out of some confused idea that that'll bring them joy. Think about it like this. For just $20, you could help me furnish my yacht with high-end Dutch prostitutes. Every day that no one buys a microtransaction, one of our executive goes without a line of coke up his nose. Will you be our snow angel? Then just punch in your credit card and buy any one of these bundles. Speaking of people that need help, the enemy AI programming has been slowly degrading for the last 10 years, and the dev team was asking earlier if they should spend any time fixing it, so here's what I'm thinking. Fuck them? Fuck them. Alright, I'll lay them all off. That's what I thought.
Bro.
I'm gonna say it. Origin.
As part of the reboot, right? Origin had the best AI. Even Odyssey, with the defunct Nemesis system, because I suppose that they couldn't flesh it out completely because they could have been sued by fucking Warner Brothers, who has now locked the whole thing behind the thing that they decided to close. Can you hear that I'm mad about the death of Monolith? Just a little bit, but yeah, Ubisoft, please fix your shit.
Sorry, those are just some associates of mine. I thought I put that on vibrate. Alright, I had some ideas for the story. First off, my wife's had 100 rounds of Botox in our last 2 years of marriage. I haven't seen her emote in years. Use that as the inspiration for the facial animations. I'll send you a tape later.
But I can fight.
My pain is constant and sharp.
Actually, I'm already looking at a cutscene right now. I can't tell whether she's happy, sad, or needs to take a shit. You guys nailed it. Forget what I said. Second, with the GDP of Bosnia invested into this game already, I think the voice acting is where we need to start pinching our pennies in our story-focused game. Have any of you ever heard of AI? It's like a digital robot sweatshop. It's brilliant. Future Fleek here. Now, I can't say whether or not we used the AI, but I will say the end result was indistinguishable from a high-end actor such as Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. Check this out.
Karate, judo, sumo, samurai. Nissan.
Shut the fuck up. That scary movie. Dude, shut the front door. I used to watch that movie religiously, okay? It was hilarious to me. They were dumb as fuck, but so freaking funny. It's straight from Scary Movie 4, where Anna Faris just displays the most casual of racism of all time.
Honda, Mitsubishi, Subaru.
Sorry, my bad. I had immersive mode on. I turned it off. Here you go.
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm.
Now, on a real note, I want you guys to get your lawyers ready to sue anyone that harasses Ubisoft employees. I want the whole world to know that the only people who can harass Ubisoft employees is Ubisoft. Please, everyone, the applause is really unnecessary. I'm but a humble man to the people, the higher tax bracket people. I put on my Prada slippers, one Sudanese leather monk strap at a time, alright? And that's how I made this game the success that it is today. AC Shadows is such a success that our 18,000 employee company just got cucked by a game developed by one man named Tyler. It's such a success that people can't even run Monster Hunter Wilds, and they're still buying it more than Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's such a success, we just shuttered another studio. It's such a success that we just became 10 cents bitch. It's such a success that our stock's hitting 5-year lows. So eat a dick, chuds. Wait until you see how successful we are after Assassin's Creed Crazy Cat Lady drops. Maybe strong feminine energy can take us to new heights. Right here, Joff, I swear to God, if you don't give this game a... Oh, you're doing it again. He's running it back. Whoa! I mean, holy shit, this is like, oh fuck, further than ever before.
Oh, I went to the corner.
You
I
are
won. I win.
You won.
I win.
Oh, wow, sunk it.
Amazing. Amazing. This was a great video. I know that I may have yapped a little bit too much here, but it truly just hit all the right points. Always baffle me how Ubisoft just failed to hit exactly what is on demand. They could, if they wanted to, work on those things that they already have. Make a Black Flag remaster or a sequel to that, right? They could have focused on the story of Kenway. They already constantly drops him in Syndicate, which was surprisingly a good enough game, despite the fact that it was basically a London let-me-hit combo simulators. They could, in the new games, make the parkour just as fluid as it is in Unity and so much more, but they decide not to. And personally, those are the things, as well as the microtransaction, of course, that infuriate me the most. But then again, that's just me, okay? But I really like this one. It was a pretty freaking fun video. But guys, thank you for the recommendation for Fleekazoid. Please do make sure to go and subscribe to the man, of course, and like his video. And if you like this one, don't forget to do the same here. That being said, wish you all to have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one. Bye.